Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 8th episode of Supt Talk. My name is Tony Buthe, Director of Educational Services for the New Prague Schools, and we welcome you. To my right, Superintendent Mr. Tim Dittberner. Good morning, Mr. Dittberner.
Good morning.
So before we get started with our guests today, I've got just a few questions kind of on the school district and some things that have been happening and are going to happen. Approximately 2 weeks ago, on Monday, February 8th, the New Prague High School held what was called the first New Prague University Night. And I heard there was about 300 people there. Who was there and what was really that for?
Well, it was, for our parents and, as our students, our high school students are registering for classes, especially our concurrent classes where kids can get college credit here at New Prague High School. Some of the new classes that we have, it just gave us a chance for our administration to go over that and afterwards for parents to be able to ask questions and get answers as their students are registering for high school classes.
What were the ages of the students that were invited?
It was our current sophomores and juniors. So.
Okay. We had Mr. Seifert on a few episodes ago, and he talked about this integrated learning program. Was that part of the university night also?
Yeah, that was a big part of it. We've got two classes that we're offering that will be off-site. One is our health science class, and the other is global business. And so those are a block of time that goes outside where they can get 2 or 3 credits for, and that where we join with the business community, where we have mentors, we have guest instructors. It's more of a project-based learning type environment, and so talked about that and sort of what the criteria was to get into that program and what that would look like. So I think people from that meeting were well informed of that, and if they did, like I said, if they did have questions, they were able to ask, and so obviously they could make an informed decision when they register, when their child registers for classes.
Well, that sounds like a great night. Anytime you bring parents and students into the schools, especially providing that information for them, there's a lot of decisions to be made. There's a lot of offerings that the New Prague High School has.
Oh yeah, it's changed. We had a brochure put together, and it was all the concurrent classes where kids can get college credit, the integrated learning programs, some of our new classes. It's, go back 3 years ago, 90% of those classes we didn't even offer. So we've added a lot of new classes, and again, big part of what we do here is to be able to offer college credit so kids don't need to leave or drive or go online for classes. They can do it right here and be part of the high school. So that's important, along with these other classes that are really tailored to their career, that really make it relevant to their learning, their future jobs or careers.
Well, that's really exciting for the sophomores and juniors that are going to be juniors, seniors next year. The opportunities that our high school provides is just outstanding. Kind of flip the other end of the spectrum, kindergarten. I just know this past Monday, all 3 elementary schools held what was called a kindergarten information night from 6:30 to 7:30. What kind of did that look like, and how did that go?
Very good. We had a great attendance. It was a chance for each of our principals and staffs at our kindergarten staffs at their building to obviously go over some information, but just talk about some of the great things that are going on at their schools, get the parents comfortable, talk about, not everyone has registered yet. It's online registration now. To be able to go over that process was important too. And yeah, it's always exciting, and especially when the first time, parents of kindergartners. Sure. It's just Pat Pribble, our Ravenstream principal, commented yesterday. Just said it's like one of his favorite nights of the year. Says the parents are excited to get their kids off to kindergarten and go.
So if we had some parents, Tim, that were watching this, and they either have some kindergarten age kids and they didn't know about the information night, or they're just moving into town or watch this from another community, who should they contact if they would like some information on kindergarten?
They can either contact the district office or contact us online, or go right to the schools, and they have the We have a kindergarten brochure at each of the elementaries, and they can get the information and go over what they need to do to register.
Okay, so just make a phone call. Last thing, it's getting pretty close here, middle school and the CEC construction. Can you kind of let us know, update us a little bit about what we're going to see as we're driving by the middle school?
Yeah, well, we had a meeting yesterday with MetCon. There's the general contractors that were awarded the bid a couple weeks ago. So we had a meeting yesterday and went over the timeline, met with all the subcontractors and everything. And so we think they're going to start a little bit earlier than we thought. I think right around March 7th, probably breaking ground on the north side of the middle school. So they'll be starting on the gymnasium, the kitchen area there. That parking lot there will be closed off. And then the CEC, we also had a pre-bid meeting with interested general contractors and subcontractors yesterday, and they were able to tour the school and stuff, look on it. Right now, the bids will be, deadline for bids and open the bids will be on March 8th at 3 o'clock, so we'll know more as far as the CEC. So that's, they're running CEC is running about a month or two behind the middle school because they're two separate bid packages.
Okay. I do want to let people watching know that the middle school, as construction starts there, the traffic's going to be very tight, parking, drop-off, pickup could change a little bit. Continue to check the New Prague website. We're going to build an actual tab that says middle school construction, and within that we're going to have pictures, we're going to have maps, and a lot of information hopefully to help people. And then we're also just going to kind of provide a timeline too, because we want people to know what's going on. So it'll be very exciting, but it could be a little congested there for the remainder of this school year once the construction does start. We'll be right back with our first guest. Welcome back to Supt Talk, and on my left here we have our first guest, Mr. Will Remmert, who is the principal out at Eagleview Elementary. Good morning, Mr. Remmert.
Good morning.
So we've got Will here to talk a little bit about elementary schools, specifically Eagleview, and just some of the things that happen in an elementary school. So our first question, to just kind of get it started, tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and your professional background.
Sure. Well, this is my third year at Eagleview. Prior to that, I was a teacher in Lakeville for about 7 years. Was a middle school dean of students in Shakopee. Then I went to Mankato, where I was an assistant principal at the high school, and was 6 years as an elementary principal in Mankato, and then came here. 3 kids, and they keep me busy with basketball, dance, volleyball, and softball starting, baseball. It's quite a busy time in life. 8th grader, 6th grader, and a 3rd grader.
Awesome. Wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, why don't you talk about some things that are going on, some of your goals or what the focus, some of the new things that are going on at Eagleview Elementary this year.
Well, our biggest implementation thing this year was our PBIS program, where we SOAR. We're going to use safety first, we're going to own our behavior, achieve our goals, and respond respectfully. That's been our biggest piece. We've implemented a monthly morning meeting where we pull the whole school together and we talk about what our expectations are behaviorally, and that's really helped to pull things together that way. It helps us to get more systematic and supportive of all kids. That's kind of been our biggest thing this year. But over the last couple years, we've worked really hard at implementing what we call win time. And it's what I need time. And that's a half-hour block each day that each grade level has, where through our work as a professional learning community, we work to identify what skills are absolutely necessary and needed before moving into the next grade or the next subject. And as they assess those skills, they see which kids have it, which kids are borderline, and which kids don't have it. And in that, while the teachers in their core classroom are working with kids to figure out, work on different instructional strategies, they do that on their own in their classroom, but then through win time, they share the load as a grade level and we also push in with our special ed support, our intervention support, any paraprofessionals that we have. And the big picture is that we want the most skilled teacher in that area to meet with the kid that needs it the absolute most.
Good. So what would you say at Eagleview Elementary, and you've been there now 3 years, what do you think some of the strengths, some of the accomplishments that have happened at Eagleview when you take a look at it and your move from previous school districts?
Right. You know, I think the thing that has been most impressive about the overall staff there is their focus on what each student needs and how they come together to meet the needs of those kids. It's really the focus on student by student, skill by skill. That wasn't a hard thing for us to come together on and understand where we are and where we need to go. That's been the most exciting piece out there.
Okay. And how about, let's talk technology. Now next year you'll have a computer for every student in the building. You want to explain what that's going to look like and how that's going to affect the teaching and learning?
Sure. Well, we're so fortunate, just as a district in general, to have lots of access to technology already. Next year, as the Chromebooks and such are implemented more and more, our teachers are looking at different ways to integrate that within their everyday lessons. One thing we talk a lot about is that the use of a Chromebook or an iPad or whatever piece of technology, it's not just a glorified worksheet, that they need to find ways of integrating what they're doing and extending the learning for kids in different ways. One thing that you see, you're seeing kids creating a lot of different forms of media, whether it's creating videos based on to demonstrate their learning, or it's programming. We're really excited with the Ed Foundation this year. We received a grant of close to $3,000 for, now I'd lost the name of the things that they are, but it's about programming, and they're little balls that they program with their iPad or their computers or their phones, and it's how to manipulate things, and it's kind of that STEM approach: science, technology, engineering, and math. We don't call it that. It's just education, and just finding different ways to engage kids in their learning and extending what they do.
Okay. But just let's go back. I know you talked about your history and stuff, but one thing you didn't touch on was your background with New Prague.
Oh, sure.
I mean, why, you know, and this has to do why you applied and were interested in this position. But just tell the viewers, you know, where you grew up and what your relationship was with New Prague. I think it's
right. Well, I grew up and graduated from New Ulm High School, and but I spent just about every summer of my life in New Prague. Would go to Mr. Shepley's basketball camp with my cousins, the Broad family. Jim Broad is a longtime teacher here at the high school. His wife Teresa is my aunt, my mom's sister. So I spent, like I said, every summer from probably kindergarten through 8th, 9th grade here. I've spent every holiday here still as a family. This was always a destination place for me and for the family. And when the job came available, I jumped right on it. In fact, I like to tease you, Tim, that you didn't hire me back in 2003-ish.
I wasn't superintendent then.
No, but when you took the job at the middle school, I was one, and you hired Mr. Greger instead.
Forgot about that.
Yeah. So it's definitely been a place that I've wanted to be, and it's feels like home to me in many ways.
Good. Well, thanks for coming here today. It's I think it's good to have our elementary principals. You can see the face to the name, and you're doing a great job, and we're very proud of the things that are going on with Eagleview Elementary. You got a great staff, and your kids and parents are very very supportive parents, you know, we have in our district, so we're very fortunate, and we've got great kids, so
Yeah.
keep up the good
Thank
work.
I just have one last question, Will, and I like to ask a lot of the principals this, but what's your favorite thing, especially as an elementary principal, walking into that building every day, what's one of the things that you really do look forward to?
Right. Well, to me, and I joke about this, but I never want to have your jobs because I don't get to see the kids enough. And people ask, do I ever want to be a superintendent or curriculum or anything like that? And I say I have zero interest because what drives me are the interactions with the kids. And I would fear that I wouldn't have enough time with that if I were to pursue something like that. So what drives me every day to go to Eagle View, it's the interactions with kids and to see how they're learning and how we can make that even better.
Great.
Awesome.
Well, thank you for connecting with the kids out at Eagle View. Thank you for being with us today on Supt Talk, and we appreciate all the work that you are doing, not only for Eagle View Elementary, but also the district. So we'll be right back with our next guests. Well, welcome back to Supt Talk, and we'd like to thank Mr. Will Remmert, the principal out at Eagle View Elementary, for being with us today. And you can tell I'm very passionate about the education of the kids out at Eagle View, and what a wonderful opportunity for him to be with us today, and we thank him for all of his work. On the left, we have three female athletic participants who we have with us, and they're pretty doggone special because they just took part, each of them, in a state tournament. So we have, to our left, Katie Skaya, Bailey Shimoda, and Brianna Ellenson. And we welcome all of you to Supt Talk. Thank you for being with us. Katie, we'll start with you. Just tell us a little bit about yourself and some of the activities, clubs, things that you're involved in at the New Prague High School.
Okay. I'm Katie. I am 16 years old and I'm a sophomore. And I'm in hockey, track, and tennis. And I have two older brothers here that are seniors and then a sister that's in 6th grade at the middle school.
Okay.
I'm Bailey. I'm 17. I'm a senior and I play hockey. I have a brother in college and a freshman brother.
I'm Brianna. I'm a senior here at New Prague High School, and I'm in cross country, gymnastics, and in softball. I have three older sisters who have graduated from New Prague, and I just got a little niece.
All right.
All right. Well, we'll start talking hockey first with Bailey and Katie here. Let's why don't you each talk about talk about the section championship game at Gustavus a little bit, that game, and then your experience at the state tournament. You guys won the Constellation State Championship. Some of the memories that you have from the past couple weeks.
The section final was at Gustavus, and we actually had like a lot of fans there.
Yeah. Whole side was full.
Yeah, and that's not normal for us. So it was kind of like nerve-wracking, but once we got a goal in or two, it was like we were a lot more relaxed and we felt more comfortable out there.
Yeah, just like she was saying, it like took the pressure off once we scored. And it was just really nice having our whole school there supporting us.
How about your first round opponent in the state? It was a tough game, Hermantown Proctor, losing 2-1. What are your thoughts on that game when you look back at it?
I think that we didn't really come out how we usually come out, and we were really nervous. And we actually had a ton of people there too, which isn't normal again. But and I don't think we played how we should have played, but it was still really fun to be there and be in that rank and stuff.
Right. And Bailey, you came back the next two games. Talk about that. You just dominated basically the next two games against Laverne and then Alexandria.
Yep. The next two games were at Ritter Arena. It's still really fun playing there. We had fans there too, and I don't know, we just came out way stronger and confident.
Okay, and Bailey, why don't you talk about what are your plans? Now, you're a senior,
Yep.
so what are your plans for next year?
I plan on going to Normandale. I want to be a special education teacher.
Okay, good. And Katie, how about what do you think? How's the team going to look next year?
I think we're going to be a little weaker in the defensive part, but I think we'll come together, and I think we could come back stronger.
Okay, you have a chance to get to state?
yeah, I believe if we all like work hard in the off season, we'll get there again.
All right, well, good. Well, let's talk now, Brianna. Qualified for the state and uneven parallel bars, right? And the all-around. Why don't you talk about the gymnastics season, and then before we get into the state tournament, just how things went as a team and you individually.
As a team, in the beginning of the season, we weren't very strong, but then by the end of the season, we were up 15 points, which is a lot in gymnastics, and we hit a 140, which was pretty awesome too. The section finals, our section was way harder than it used to be going into AA.
Yeah, you're AA now.
Yeah, and so it was pretty hard, and it was pretty hard at state too, but yeah, my meet went pretty well, and so I knew if I would do pretty well, I could go to section, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, how about your experience at state? You finished overall, I believe, 22nd?
My meet didn't go, I mean, it was okay, but if it would have been better, I think it could have been more up there, but I guess it was a pretty good meet to end on.
Okay. And then what are your plans for next year?
I'm going to Mankato, and I plan to do dental hygiene.
Dental hygiene. All right, awesome.
One question I've got for our two seniors here, Bailey and Brianna. As you look out into the camera, we might have a lot of younger people that are kind of watching, especially females, regardless of what sport or activity they might be in. After you've been through lots and lots of high school, middle school sports activities, I think 6 years on the varsity, what are some words of wisdom that you might give young girls that are watching this?
I would say just to never give up and try to reach that next level.
Just take it all in, because it does go by really fast.
Certainly does.
And maybe just then kind of finish a little bit too with just your career at the New Prague High School. Some thoughts about the New Prague High School. Has it been a good experience for you? Do you enjoy it? Do you think you're prepared and ready for the next collegiate level at Normandale and Mankato?
Yeah, it's been like a great experience. Like the teachers and the school, just really homey. And yeah, I think I'm prepared for next year.
Yeah, it was a good town to grow up in.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, we thank you, all three of you, for being with us today, and congratulations on the team and your individual status and all the hard work. We know exactly how much time and effort that takes. So, Katie, good luck to you next year on the team, and good luck, girls, as you go off to college.
Thank you.
So that wraps up our 8th episode of Supt Talk. We thank you very much for being with us.